Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. When we get reports coming out about a rumor here, inside source there, talking about one canceled project or another, coming from whether or not it is a video game studio or a TV show, a movie or something that got canceled behind the scenes, and this was the storyline, but insider told me this, but obviously they can't talk about it. I advise everyone to take it with a grain of salt because, well, you have no way to prove it. Now, the subject of today's video is, of course, the Assassin's Creed Civil War game that was supposedly canceled. Ubisoft shut it down because of powder keg waiting to explode. Canceled due to politics and protagonist backlash. And on this one, I hadn't made a video on it yet until I had a thought yesterday about, well, this isn't the same Ubisoft. Well, I watched Az's video, Heel versus Babyface, the pronoun guy, remember him? And I kind of agree with them. I think maybe the story might be a little bit full of shit. Just somebody trying to drum up some traffic to their website, because if you release something about Ubisoft canceling the project, Assassin's Creed taking place during the Civil War, and you're going to go after Maracisis and all this other stuff, well, that's going to drum up all kinds of clicks and all kinds of videos. I mean, look at me. I'm making a video on it. Everybody made a video on this one. It's going to drum up traffic, drum up engagement. That's the word I was looking for. I know English. But let's go with the rumor being true. We'll talk about it. Of course, I come to Polygon for this little tidbit because, oh, I'm sure this article is going to be completely and totally objective, non-biased, unpartisan, nonpartisan, right? Of course it will. They're not gonna, Polygon wouldn't, insult anyone, right? I don't know why I smile like that. You can't see my face yet. Ubisoft was reportedly working on a game set after the Civil War era, but canceled it due to politics and protagonist backlash. So right out the gate, oh, the protagonist is going to be a black man, so obviously we can't release it because people didn't like Yasuke. It's because my black man, my blackity black, we cannot stand. Just like women, we don't like women in strong leads in video games and TV shows and movies. We do not like the black man, the black woman, blah, blah, fucking blah. Completely ignoring the reason why people didn't take too kindly to Yasuke in Assassin's Creed Shadows. You know, the video game, the Assassin's Creed video game set in feudal Japan that people were hoping for, that people were begging for that setting. And, oh, I don't know, both male and female characters to be Japanese, but then you shoehorned what a lot of people saw and was shown with evidence. Videos were done about it. Bullshit history of Yasuke, calling him a samurai over and over and over and over again. Not to mention all the artwork and the assets that were stolen from one era or another, modern day reenactment group. A whole bunch of people make videos on it. There was a lot of criticism behind that game, along with bugs and glitches. Couldn't pet the dog that you showcased, that showed off. And yeah, but it was because Yasuke was black. Yeah, that was the reason, right? And this is the narrative that's being pushed, and the narrative that's being pushed to claim why this Civil War Assassin's Creed is canceled. Because because my game is a racist, right? How'd Black Panther do? How'd Sinners do? Filthy Racist went to a movie. Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed series is staged around noteworthy historical time periods, which typically means the series looks beyond American shores. The United States is less than 300 years old, and blah, blah. What the fuck does that have anything to do with video games? Wanted to tap into that well once more. Recent reporting, Mike Zero, of course. I'm making jokes, people. If you know, you know. Suggests that the French publisher was working on a game that would touch on the Civil War and the Reconstruction era from the 1860s and 1870s, only to cancel the endeavor due to politics. But why? They're French. They don't care. Why does anybody in the UK give a toss and a rat's ass about Western ideological bullshit? I know the Chinese don't, the Koreans don't, the Japanese don't when they're making their games. Really? Anyway, for some, it's a disappointing, if not spineless move. I'll agree with that one. Grow some stones, Ubisoft. Come on. I don't entirely blame the company, though. As fans know, I think this is the part where the fun starts. As fans know, a handful of existing Assassin's Creed games are set in America and tackle fraught historical time periods. Assassin's Creed 3. Oh, I was mistaken. We're not getting to the fun part yet. Takes place in the American Revolution. Did I smack my lips? I haven't done that in years. Oh, goodness gracious. Spin-off Liberation unfolded in I don't say New Orleans. Oh, my God. In New Orleans, around the end of the French and Indian War. I don't say Nolans. Don't say Nolans around me. You'll send me. I'm from New Orleans. Don't. Anyway, let's go. Game Files. Stefan? We'll go with Stefan. Totillo reports that the now canceled Assassin's Creed game would have starred a formerly enslaved black man. Sounds like interesting storytelling. As he attempts to start a new life. Definitely. Concept sounds interesting. It genuinely does. I'm not just saying that for the video. It does. Somehow he'd get... Oh, boy. How intentional... It's got to be intentional, right? Somehow he'd get roped into joining the Assassins and take on the Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux? Kux. Oh, no, that's Destiny. The developers working on it were enthusiastic about it, then follow through with it and make the game. And hope that the game could show how racial tensions are used to control populations. Do I need to go any further to see where this article is going? It's going in adventure. Let's keep going. But according to multiple sources who spoke to GameFile, anonymous sources, trust me, bro, Ubisoft was uncomfortable with the backlash surrounding Assassin's Creed Shadows because they absolutely want to ignore what the actual criticism was, not just that it was a black samurai protagonist. That was not the only criticism, not the root of it at all. But hey, you want to be a just disingenuous twat in your article? By all means. Concerned that the current political climate in America was too fraught. What? Currently the U.S. government waging war in individual states, blah, 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 blah. I think that's enough that we can read for the point of what I want to talk about. Because you can sit there and say, my goodness, that sounds like a fantastic idea. I would play that game. What the wonders that they could do with that story. And here is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. If you genuinely believe that, you are fooling yourself. Because this is not the Ubisoft that made Black Flag. It's not the Ubisoft that made Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. This is the Ubisoft that made Assassin's Creed Shadows. So you can take an actual interesting concept of Civil War, post-Civil War United States, a black man trying to make his way across the country or whatever region the game would be set in, the rise of the KKK. Not even going to talk about what, political party brought that up, but whatever. It would be an interesting concept, and that's what we get a lot of. Interesting concepts, interesting ideas, decent mechanics. However, what ends up happening is the execution falls flat. Flatter than if Lizzo fell on you. What would you expect? What would you do? You want the same people that handed out the Assassin's Creed Shadows story to make this iteration of Assassin's Creed? It would be guaranteed modern day ideological bullshit over and over, heavy-handed, smashing you in the face, talking about what's bad, what's bad, what's bad. The dialogue would likely be atrocious. I would predict using, current day sayings instead of trying to use, and the other thing that they would never, ever be able to accomplish is those so lovely, lovely words. The pejoratives, the derogatory slang words that the KKK had a tendency to use towards higher melanin content individuals. So, honestly, if you're not going to go all the way with the story in the game that you're portraying, that you're putting out there, then why bother at all? We get so many games out there, so many studios that we used to have so much faith in, where you would see their names, Bethesda, BioWare, Blizzard, hell, even a little bit of Activision and EA. These are not the same studios that, I'll speak for myself, I grew up with 30 years ago. Oh, that always makes my knees hurt whenever I remember it. Okay, how long it's been since I've been playing video games. Well, I guess even longer than that, because I don't know, Atari 2600. Oh boy. Let's get off that tangent, shall we? These are not the same studios that once were. Blizzard is not the same studio that made Warcraft, Orcs and Humans. It's not the same studio that made Assassin's Creed. It's not the same people. It's not the same love and drive and passion for gameplay and storytelling. Graphics be damned. Style over everything else. Add all the love and care into the world and mix in your ideology, but make it fun first. And then that's what they did. Now, you'd be lucky if you get even half the fun, half the joy that I used to get from the original games. I find myself playing older games and lower budget games than any of the AAA, I guess, or quadruple A, 5A games that are coming out nowadays. So, as far as any sort of Assassin's Creed Civil War game goes, outside of, if it was actually a concept inside of the studios, which I honestly, as I said, I don't believe it was, but if it was, there's no chance on God's green earth that Ubisoft could have pulled it off in any sort of entertaining manner without being overly indulgent on the political, ideological, heavy-handed storytelling. It wouldn't make sense and would fall flat yet again. I hope I didn't say that twice. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things you do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.